got that piece up on the bench. I've got the end that is down towards the bottom of the tree on this side, on this end, because I want to plane it this way. And the grain typically runs out of the wood as you go up the tree. Here's the knot. First I check it with a straight edge just to see what's going on a little bit. And I'm liking what I'm seeing. Definitely high right around where the knot is. Next, I want to prepare my surface here, about 2 inches, 3 inches in. Same here. I'll plane it down till I get it square here, starting here because this is the smallest end. This end is kind of buggered up. So I want to take as little as possible off this end. And I want it to be all flat and more or less 4.5 inches all the way down to this end. So we're looking pretty good. So I'm going to start getting this square. And it doesn't need a heck of a lot. Okay, right there, it's good. Now, come up to this end. This is high, that's what the line is showing as well. This is solid wood, I can not have to be so careful. Keep in mind, I don't want to go below my dimension. Because this is the actual dimensioning process. The first process was just getting a square corner. Now I take it to the size I want. And when I had all 8 of these logs, I made this little pattern to set them on all the ends of the logs to see if I could get 8 pieces this size out of the 8 logs that I had. And it was like, oh yeah, it looks like I can do it. I could have made some of the logs a little bigger, but this was the minimum size of one of the logs, so I decided to make this the size instead of having like a 4.5, a 4 3/4, a 5.5. I just said I want a 4.5 by 4.5, and I figured I could get 8 of them. So that's where I'm at. This is the last one. Those ones over there are already done. I'll give you a picture of those. But not much to see. It's just a square timber. So instead of using a tape measure or a ruler all the time, I can just put this up against it and see, oh yeah, I can take off a good 1/16 or an 1/8 here, and I don't have to sweat it. I mean, as difficult as this work might look to some people who haven't done it before, I try to make as little work out of it as possible. Not because I'm lazy, it's just because it's kind of hard on you, especially an old timer like me. Okay, I got one little spot there. And to double check it, I'm shooting for 4 9/16. And I'm at 4 5/8, thereabouts. So I can still bring that down. Still pretty way high. By way high, I mean I could take a 1/16 off or so off of this corner. And only the first 2 or 3 inches. Sometimes you gotta plane further back just to get the plane sitting flat so it'll take off what you want. Switch sides. This would be the low corner here. Good. Let's see what the dimension says. Okay. There it is. Here's my funky ruler. Alright, let's see. You know what? I'm sick of this metric English one. Okay, yeah, 4 9/16 thereabouts. Maybe a little more adjustment I can make. Alright, so it's hitting the corner, the square's hitting each corner, same with down there. Now, if I've done everything fairly decent, these winding sticks are going to show me. And sometimes they show you something you don't want to see. But in this case, I think it's going to be all right. It doesn't hurt to check. And, okay, something is just a little wacky here, and I think I know why. It's showing me that either this corner is high that corner is high. It's only a little bit. And it sometimes, I mean, my eyesight isn't the greatest, but I don't have my glasses on, but I can definitely see some blue sticking up on this side over there. So because this is the smaller side, I'm just going to take a couple plane off of this down here and see if that makes it a little better. And without affecting the square too much. You got to kind of split the difference if you run into a situation where it's showing square, but the winding sticks still show. It's got to come down on one corner or the other. First I'll get some of this material out of the way. Because these are a lot longer than this surface, it amplifies how much it's off. So even if it looks like it's off, it might only be nothing. But then you start engaging in wishful thinking. When it's off, you really know it's off. I mean, it just looks crooked as hell. But when it's really close, like, yeah, picky do I want to be? And that didn't change it that much. So, because this is a high corner and that's a high corner, I can pick which corner I want to take down. And because this is kind of not so great down here anyway, and I can sort of still see my line a little bit. Let me try that. Make sure this is still reading square, and it is a little screwy there, slightly off, not bad. This, check it again. It's showing that this end, this has got to come down, so that's good. And that's what this shows too. Oh yeah. Yep. Still seeing some blue over there. Touching here. That's a good thing. So I will take a little more off here. Okay. Okay, I can adjust it later if I feel like it. High in here. Definitely showing high in the line. Oh yeah. Wow. Shoot, that ain't bad. Still a wee high here. It's got some material to come off here. And the line is still showing. I'll come back to that. Around a knot, after you work around it enough times, you just kind of automatically change the direction of the plane once you see how the grain is going. Typically, you go from one side and then the other side. And you can pretty much go straight across anytime. Only once you get something kind of flat, that kind of acts like a register for the plane. And the plane will find the lump. It'll ride the flat spot until it goes and hits a lump, and it'll shave that off. And keep the angle up. Keep it high in the middle. Just looking for a wide enough spot to set my straight edge on. then I'll attack the other side. But as you're planing this, you can see the axe marks start to disappear. And that helps you determine where it needs to be planed. As you get flatter, you start taking more and more chips off. But just because it's taken off a lot of chips doesn't mean those chips have to come off. So you do have to keep checking it. I'm working from the small end to the big end, so I know I'm bringing this down. And the axe leaves a lot of irregular humps and whatnot. So when you start seeing those axe marks go away, you know you're getting flat. Okay, now that I got more or less this gone, I'm pivoting on the actual highest spot, which is right around here. And that's what the line's showing. Still keeping the angle of the plane up. It's touching here. It looks fairly straight. But this edge still needs a little work up here. And at this point, I think I'll take the long plane just to see what it shows me. Yeah, I can hear it taking a shaving there. Don't want to come to the end with it. If anything, I want that end to be a little high. And then I'll plane it off after I'm done, because that's my reference right there. touching. Almost touching. It's rocking. It's rocking right from here. Okay. Pretty rough down this end. Everything below this knot is not the greatest wood. But up above here, that's a clear piece all the way through. That's it. This is really straight in this direction, but in this direction it's got a bow to it. So it's only a good straight edge this way. Alright, so that edge is done. I am not touching that until I get to the final adjustment. I know I'm square, I know I'm square. Hopefully this edge has to come down until it's flat and square all the way through here. And I'll put this up there. It's got a big, rocking big time right at where the damn knot is. And the line is showing that as well. And if any kind of luck, I'll get rid of some of those ugly tear out spots. This is all, you know, this is just, yeah, I don't know. But anyway, amazing sometimes. You come through the wood about 1/8 of an inch and it just turns nice. But because of this old knot that was in here, the branch is completely gone now, but there's a hole there. What happens is you get a dead branch and the tree grows around it. That gives an entrance into the tree for bugs and fungus. So everything below this knot, the water goes in the knot, soaks into the wood, the fungus gets in there, the bugs get in there. And that's what's happening to this section right here. Above the knot, it's just shit, you couldn't ask for better wood. And those other southern timbers over there are probably, all of them are better than this one. But there's some that have the defects too. And then there's a couple in there that are just about totally clear on all 4 sides. And that's why you pay more for clear lumber. Not only for looks, but because it just works better. And back when they only had hand tools, they went for the good lumber. No knots, straight. That's the kind of wood you get out of old growth timber. And that's why there's not much of it left around. Even though machining will do whatever you want it to do, whether there's knots or not. But it's stuck in people's mind that, oh, clear wood with no knots, that's beautiful, that's what we want. But there's a practical reason for wanting clear lumber when you're working with hand tools. But like a lot of carpenters over the ages, I just work with what I got. pretty happy with it. I'm not looking for something real fancy looking. Something's off. I can't believe there's that much of a hump in it, but I guess so. Let's see what the square shows. It's high over there. Okay, good. And that's not such a huge gap. Touching down this end, got a space here, touching here, got a space here. I still got to work this section, but first, before I go too nutty on it, I don't want to get it so far out of square as to cause me a problem down the road, so I just keep checking it, and it's still showing high. That's good. So really, I just have to flatten this all the way down now. I don't know if I'm ready for the long plane or not. I'll give it a few more of these. Oh yeah. Stay away from the edge with this scrub plane just to kind of remove this middle. We get a continuous shaving with the scrub plane. So I think it's time for the long plane. I'll keep the long plane over to the edge until I'm happy with it being straight. Then I'll come back and remove the middle. So I'm just going to take one peek at it again from this side. Okay, oh gosh, you're almost touching there. This is raggedy down here anyway. But yeah, it does show. And that's what the line is showing. And I know well over 4 9/16 there. I could take this down and not lose my dimension in order to get this kind of nicer, but Still looking good there. Okay. Whoop. Alright, now I've created a little situation here. I might have taken it too far down, but it's good here. It's riding on the middle there, so that's just a false reading, I think, because the middle's still high. I always want to have the edges touching the bottom of the square. You don't want the bottom of the square to touch anything in the middle. That'll give you a false reading. So now, oh boy, that sounded good. Yeah, that's good enough for now. Now I just gotta get rid of this. It's actually pretty flat. Not quite though. Pretty good there, pretty good there. Okay. So I kind of want to start the plane in the middle of the wood now. Not catching anything back here. Mainly because I went a little too deep with the axe here. This is kind of soft and punky. So the axe went in further than it should have. The only way I'd use this as a full 5-footer if I had some situation where it didn't really matter about that. But at least I've got the whole thing dimensioned pretty close. You always want to keep your pieces long until you figure out what you're going to use them for. Because there is no such thing as a board stretcher. gliding along real good here. I use the side of the plane to check it for flat. It's a little high right there. Doesn't hurt to come the opposite direction. You might catch something that you missed going the other way. Keep it away from the edge. Planing against the grain right now, but since the grain is fairly decent, I'm not getting any tear out. This way, I was really worried about the look of the face. I'd be a lot more fussy about how I plane it. And I find that to be kind of tedious. Okay, there we go. Let me just do a little sanity check with the square, because I've done these timbers before and I thought I had, oh, my line's straight, my winding sticks are good, the ends are square. Then I come to the middle with the square and I go, how the hell did that happen? But yeah, that's a little off there, you can see. But there it's pretty decent. There it's off a little. There it's off a little. And here at the end it's off a little. Okay. That's a good thing. So I think I said it was off from here. And yeah, it's catching. Catching. It's catching. It's catching. It's catching. You can hear it. Catching. 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 That's good. That's right in the center. It's good there. It's good at the ends. Not so good here. It's good there. So it looks like it might be high right in there. Catching. Catching. Taking a shaving off those corners. Touch high in the middle. Now when you got a good straight edge on this, you can kind of keep the heel of the plane on that straight edge and let it guide it. As long as this stays in contact with the edge, you're not going to do anything too drastic. That is done. That is all she wrote. Now the next step, and I'm going to save this for the next video I do, this is going to be the last face that has to come off before I get my 4.5 by 4.5. So this is a roughed out one. That's the size I'm going for. And when I'm done, I'll have 8 of these. I'm going to take out the very best ones to show. You've already seen the defects, so all of them have something slightly wrong with them. But I might have 2 that are really nice. Really nice the way they look. They're all nice in that they're all flat and straight, dimensioned. But when you talk about how it looks, that's a whole nother story.